Great. Hi, everybody. This is DeDe Jones with Innovative Financial, here to talk about bookkeeping. What is it? Why is it? What do you need one for? And to help you learn more about that, I have brought in my special guest with Lighthouse Bookkeeping, Elizabeth Carlson. She's a bookkeeper extraordinaire. I really enjoyed getting to know her, and I know you will too. How you doing today, Elizabeth?
Great, DeDe. Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm glad you could come. I know that cameras can be scary, so we'll be very, very gentle with you. We might have some live folks watching. This will be stored for later viewing for folks coming with these kinds of questions later. But really the big thing is, especially for small business owners, bookkeeping. Why would someone ever need to hire a bookkeeper? What do you think that number one reason would be?
Well, DeDe, if you have a bookkeeper on board, that allows you time to pay attention to what it is that you do, your specialty, and it doesn't take time away from that. So the bookkeeper can put everything into perspective and produce those financial statements that you need to review every month.
It sounds like you can make better decisions if you've got a good bookkeeper on board.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your favorite new client lately? Who's somebody fun that you're working with these days?
Oh, somebody fun that I'm working with these days. I just took on a client that lives out in Byer. They drive trucks for a living, and they lease their truck to another company. And so I've had to catch up their books for the last part of 2018 and then do 2020. So it's interesting. It's a different industry for me. I do a lot of service-based industries, but I have not had somebody that drives a truck. So it's pretty interesting.
That is. So do you have that experience often where you're catching up books for folks?
Yes, sometimes more often than not. Either I've had a CPA leave our area recently, another bookkeeper leave the area, and so they've just kind of left things where they were and continued on to where they moved to. And so those clients need to bring on board a new bookkeeper to catch up that stuff and move forward.
Quite an opportunity for you. Wow.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I've heard anecdotally in Colorado, we've lost a huge number of CPAs with all the tax changes. That there were a lot of CPAs near retirement with all the tax changes coming through. They went, done, I'm done. So I can imagine there's some trickle down effect with some of the bookkeepers just being done with it too, especially if they're associated with those retiring CPAs. So you're busy.
Yes, I'm very busy.
Yeah. So how does one choose a bookkeeper? Because there's bookkeepers everywhere, and I can only imagine different ranges of skill. What would you ask somebody?
Oh, I feel I'm a very detailed person. I feel that you need a bookkeeper that's not just punching in the numbers and the data entry, somebody that's going to look out for your best interest. So I think they need to have a little bit more expertise in the bookkeeping. You know, they're going to make sure that when you buy an asset, it's put on the books properly and that you're working with your CPA to have depreciation. A lot of people don't know about bookkeeping. They think it's pretty much reconciling a checkbook, and it's a little bit more than that. So
I agree. My background as a CPA, I've seen a lot of that, and people are surprised by how important bookkeeping is. How about during PPP? Did you find a lot of folks showing up on your doorstep, helping get their books together so they could become eligible for that?
Actually, I did. You needed to have backup payroll information, and so people didn't know where to look for that, and they called on me to help them get that together and help them file the application. So
wow, you helped save some jobs. Nice work.
I did. Thanks.
It's funny where the wins come for people who do financial services like this.
Yes.
But it's a big deal. Yeah. So what's a risk if somebody doesn't hire a bookkeeper? What are some of the things that can go awry without someone like you helping out?
Oh, in the past few months, the clients I've taken on, things could be put into the wrong categories. Things can be expensed instead of put towards the balance sheet, the liability accounts.
Yeah.
Not all of the payment is tax deductible, as you know, so that has to be separated out. People don't know that. They think it's pretty much reconciling a checkbook, and it's a little bit more than that. So I think they have a need to have a little bit more expertise in the bookkeeping. You know, they're going to make sure that when you buy an asset, it's put on the books properly and that you're working with your CPA to have depreciation. A lot of people don't know about bookkeeping. They think it's pretty much reconciling a checkbook, and it's a little bit more than that. So
Yeah.
making sure that they've received all the money that's owed them. I helped a client recover $9,300 the other day because one of their clients hadn't paid them. So just paying attention to the detail, and sometimes people get so busy with what they're doing and their expertise that they don't have time to look at the fine details.
Well, and honestly, very few people express an interest to do this kind of work. They find it either over their head or yuck, why would I do that? And I'm in the camp with you. I think it's fun. I love to know those details. So it's important to have somebody on the team that has this. If someone gets something on an income statement when it should have been on the balance sheet, so what? What's the problem for the company if they mischaracterize things like that?
Well, we could overstate or understate your net income, which is how you file your taxes based upon the income that you make. And
Or
so
apply for loans,
right,
or mortgages, or buyouts if you're buying or selling your business. Yeah, all over so there's huge implications if you get it wrong. People don't understand that.
a lot of misrepresentation there. Yep.
Yeah, they put it all over the place. Well, cool. So do you work closely with CPAs?
I do. I have a couple that I work closely with. I refer my clients to them and gather things that they need for the client that the client might not know where to find that information or what they're looking for. Kind of a foreign language to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people confuse CPAs and bookkeepers. How do you help them understand where one begins and the other ends?
Well, I always tell them that I do not file the tax work. So that's kind of my line in the sand, as you say. I could do everything up to getting them to the CPA, get their books ready for that. But the CPA is the one that would advise them.
Good.
And file taxes for them.
So that's kind of nice. So if somebody knows they need both pieces.
Yes.
Do you work with do-it-yourselfers very often? Do you train people on how to do their own bookkeeping, or do you find that that's not a very successful strategy?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of people ask me for training like that. When they come to me, they're basically ready to hire a bookkeeper, and they interview me so they know what I'm capable of doing for them. But at that point, they're pretty much ready to hand over their books because it's something that I think it scares people a lot. And maybe they don't want to look at the detail, or maybe they just don't understand how to do it.
Right. All of those things. I completely hear you. People show up and go, okay, I've gotten it this far, and now I know I'm in over my head. Please take this off my hands. Here's my baby. Take good care of it. So
yes,
very cool. How long have you been doing this kind of work?
I have had my own business for 9 years now. Prior to that, I worked as a CFO for a plumbing company. So I've been doing this for a very long time.
All right. So you're just born to do it.
Yes, I like the detail, the checks and balances. I enjoy that.
So how about when you were 10 years old? Did you go, I want to do bookkeeping?
No. I don't think I did that. I was trying to remember what I did at 10 years old. I think I probably was playing like school teacher.
Okay.
I do like to train people. I teach swimming lessons on the side, and so that's always a joy when people pick up swimming. I'm not sure if teaching bookkeeping or accounting is in my future. I would like to do that, but
I can see that. You're really you really help people understand what they're dealing with. I've seen you in action. Definitely good.
Yeah.
Well, and it's all about translation. I think it's taking it from normal people English to the technical and back again. Speak accountant.
Yes, speaking accountant.
It's its own thing, but you make it accessible and useful for folks. So that's really, really valuable, I think. So let's see. I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. Oh, I know. As you've gone through your journey, I'm sure you've had interesting financial challenges. Is there a big financial challenge you'd be willing to talk about with us today? What you were facing with and how you dealt with it?
I was thinking what my biggest financial challenge is. I think making sure that your clients that you're working for are getting billed, that you're recording all the time that you spend. If you're in a service industry, I know that's been hard for me in the past.
Mhm.
I've gotten the T-Sheets program through QuickBooks, and that seems to help because it's a mobile app that I can just record things as I'm going.
Oh, that's a cool tool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Well, we want to make sure we get paid for the things that we do for people. And so I think sometimes we get so into what we're doing, and then later on we can't remember how long was I there, what was I doing,
Yeah.
things like that.
So I think you work in QuickBooks, is that correct?
I do. I use QuickBooks. I also have some experience with Xero software.
Yeah.
It's
They're
an
based here in
online.
Denver. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've knocked on my door a bit. It's like, go talk to the bookkeepers in the world. So do you do the online QuickBooks or the desktop or a bit of both?
I actually do a bit of both. I still have some clients that are desktop QuickBook clients, and then I am seeing more and more people transition to online. I think because the accessibility to have your CPA be able to look at your books as well as yourself and your bookkeeper, and it's all just right there. There's no remote logging into somebody else's computer or anything.
Files.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and this is maybe not relevant anymore, but there was a time when the QuickBooks Online, you really couldn't close previous periods. And so if you had clients who were messing around, they could actually make changes in closed periods. How do you handle that? Has that been fixed?
Yeah, I think they've fixed that. And
Oh,
QuickBooks also, I feel it has a good setup process where you can allow the people that you invite to be read-only users or only change certain facets of QuickBooks, like
good.
setting up vendors and customers and not really the financial piece of it. So
Awesome. That's great. That's a big improvement since last I was educated on it. So what other changes do you see in the future for bookkeeping? Where do you think it will change? Where will it go? Obviously, you can work from home while you're doing it.
yeah, I think I've been working from home more this year with the COVID, and I think that people are realizing that you don't physically have to have somebody come to your office. So we have a lot of accessibility to online information, banking, QuickBooks Online, and of course our Zoom meetings and stuff like that. So I really, I see people working more remotely.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah, I doubt there's a whole lot of innovation in debits and credits. That's been around quite a while.
Right.
So one of the things I see in my world is more and more integration. Are you seeing that on the bookkeeping side too, where QuickBooks will talk with different institutions and pull data in to reduce the manual labor? Is it doing that more and more?
Yeah, QuickBooks actually has some add-on apps to QuickBooks Online that you can take stuff and put it in the spreadsheet format that they want to see when they import data. I just talked to a interior design company last week, and they are using some new software, but that software exports their invoicing and things to QuickBooks Online. So I'm interested in seeing how that interacts with QuickBooks. But
that's cool.
It's good. Nice. Very user friendly.
Well, and that's always been my sense of it. Last time I was doing bookkeeping, there was also something called Peachtree out there, which no one out there watching this right now should remember because it wasn't that good. But
I actually used that, DeDe, when I first started working. We were on a DOS-based system when I first started working at the plumbing company, and then actually handwritten, and then we brought in Peachtree. So that's very interesting.
Oh, you actually did handbooks. That's pretty impressive.
I did do handbooks. Two column ledger.
I remember those days. That's what I was trained on. Dark ages. Holy cow. So Peachtree, my take was that was written by accountants, whereas QuickBooks started with Quicken, and it was written for normal people. And that's the one that survived. And so I've always been amused by how technology carried one to the other. So
Yeah.
we are live, and something loud is happening behind me. I'm going to go turn it off. Pardon me. Four. There we go. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. My apologies. So with all that said, technology is great. Live is fun, but the printer's really loud. So we're still finishing up our tax season here. And someone was printing one out while we were talking. So I didn't realize you'd been in the bookkeeping biz quite that long, that you remember Peachtree and actual double entry accounting on ledger paper.
Yes, I've been in it that long.
Yeah.
When I started off with the plumbing company, answering phones, and then moved into accounts receivable, and then to a CFO from there. But we were all manual for quite a few years.
Yeah, 13 column paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Again, no one else watching this knows what we talk about. So those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the whole goal here is to understand that every small business needs a bookkeeper. And one thing that I will share with you is starting my company, the very first thing I outsourced was the bookkeeping. And it's not because I can't do it. I mean, I've got plenty of training. It's because it's so critical to have a specialist take care of that for you and to allow you to focus on the money part of your business. Where does the income come from? And I think bookkeepers are an undervalued resource for anybody with a small company, any company truly, but no matter how small you are, you need to consider a bookkeeper. Another time that we use bookkeepers, I don't know if you do this kind of thing. I've got some elderly clients who over time, managing their personal finances day to day has become a challenge. Do you work with any older folks at this point, helping them keep their bills paid and whatnot?
Well, I actually, it's not a client, it's a relative. My ex-father-in-law, his wife passed away, and she did all the finances. And so I'm going to be helping with him with his finances and getting his bill payment set up. And I'm sure as time goes on, my parents will need the same kind of help. So
We
yes,
see a huge need for that in the community because, the multi-generational, like you're helping family, you have the skills, but lots of times the kids or grandkids don't have the skills or they're remote. And having a trusted financial person to help make sure that the bills get paid, nothing gets, hidden under the couch, as it were, is a really important experience. So, in fact, some of my clients have a bookkeeper that actually goes to visit, and they just kind of check, make sure that the refrigerator isn't full of moldy food, and that everything kind of looks okay. So, it's been nice. Maybe in the future when we're not so COVID sensitive, that will be more of a thing. So
yeah,
definitely. So what do you see in your future? What do you hope your business grows into?
Oh, well, in the past year, I have hired a couple of part-time ladies. It's been great because with all the remote access now, they're able to work from home, and they're younger, so they have small kids at home. I am able to provide them with a little bit of extra income for their families while they're able to spend time with their children. And I'm looking to just continue growing my business.
Great.
In the future.
Yeah. So
maybe adding some more people.
Yeah. What industries do you help best? I know that you can work in many industries, but do you have a specialty, or is there a particular industry that just really needs bookkeepers almost more than anybody else?
Yeah, I feel like I have a good handle on the service industry, being part of that plumbing company. I do sales tax and payroll for people. Service industry has been very good industry for me. So I feel my expertise would be in that industry.
Yeah. So you're doing W-2s, you're doing 1099s, 941s, et cetera. Yeah, that's complicated.
Yeah, that's a good smorgasbord of things to be able to offer. So, but I do like the payroll side of bookkeeping.
Good for you. That was one of my least favorite things about bookkeeping. Payroll it's fussy, I guess is what I would call it. You just really have to mind the P's and Q's as you go through it.
Yes, you do.
Very deadline sensitive as well. People want paid on time. Imagine that.
Oh, I can't imagine people wanting to be on time. Yeah. Yes, they do. And tax filings, the deadlines, and yeah.
Right. So I feel like there's a lot of similarities between what you do, helping people understand what they have and accounting for it in a way that gets them ready for the next step, be that, maybe it's taxes or maybe it's selling or buying another company. And we do something very similar with the financial planning, helping people understand what's going on and helping them prepare for the next step. So I love talking with folks who have such obvious parallels. And I love for my clients who are business owners to use a good bookkeeper like you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can think of any similarities beyond that, but that's what occurred to me.
Yeah, I think you do much of the same thing, looking at past trends in people's lives or businesses and how they can better prepare for the future.
Right.
Yeah. And we speak the same language. I like that.
We do the same language. And at multiple levels, you and I more than most, actually. So we both speak CPA if we have to.
Right. Yes.
Try not to, because that's a foreign language. But anyway, so I always offer the folks who join me on Fridays to ask me a question, anything wacky or conventional out of the blue. And this is unrehearsed. I've never heard the question before.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel you work with investments, I believe, correct? And I wanted to know if you felt that people should still be investing and if they should be aggressive or if they should kind of be conservative at this time with the COVID and kind of future predictions, and how you feel about that.
Well, there's a whole lot of feelings. That's a huge question. And I do think people need to be investing. I think it's important that we prepare for the future because we are in a more uncertain time than we've ever been, which means we all need to have a good emergency fund. But we want the emergency fund to work hard for us. The trick with that is we don't know what the stock market's going to do. I think I would be in good company when I say I'm kind of surprised that it's done as well as it has throughout all of this. Certainly we had the dip in March, but we've come rearing back as a stock market without is it undue optimism? I don't know what it is. So to answer your question directly, is it a good time to invest in the stock market? Probably. And I not 100% yes, because there's situations, if you need money in the near term, say 1 to 3 years, the stock market is never a good idea for you because there's going to be volatility regardless. And I think the next 1 to 3 years is probably going to be even more volatile than we've been experiencing. So if you have a near-term need, for heaven's sake, not in the stock market. Where do you put it? Not a lot of great choices. Interest rates are very, very low. Probably at a local bank. We have some other options that have slightly higher returns, but not an exciting time to be a non-stock market investor. However, so that's probably the rest of the folks, if your time horizon is longer, even if you're 65, remember your time horizon is probably age 85 or 90. So even if you're 65, you have a very long time horizon. Having exposure in the stock market is the only way available to most of us normal humans to have returns that match or exceed inflation. So by putting money in places that don't have those higher returns and relative risks, we're guaranteed to have our nest egg eaten away by inflation. So we want to protect against the inflation effects. And we balance that out by how we invest, how we balance it out for different people, their risk tolerance, their goals, and what their other assets are. But so the answer is, it's probably a good time. You just need to make sure that that fits in with the rest of the planning that's happening in your life. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, that was a great answer.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been wonderful to talk with you. I learn something new every time we talk. I know you did the swim lessons. That's such a cool thing. There's so many people who can't swim and are scared to swim. And knowing your personality like I do, I bet you put them at ease and get them being successful so very quickly.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I teach a lot of younger kids, and it's all about trust. If you can trust somebody, because water is very scary. So
It can
I
be.
do enjoy it.
That's awesome. Well, good. Again, thanks for joining me.
Oh,
And
thanks for having me.
we'll talk soon. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to learn about bookkeeping, why you need it, what to do about it, and how to choose the best bookkeeper for you. For Live at Noon, this is DeDe Jones with Innovative Financial. Thank you.
Thank you.